let's quickly go to literature review, which is a major thing because you said even before you choose the topic, you should read
Yeah.
some literature to see. So the question is,
Yeah, you have to.
how do you do a careful, or let's say, how do you carry out literature review critically? How do you do it?
You have to. Is it a? You see, when you take your topic, when you take your topic, you have to read the literature. You have to go through the literature regarding considering the topic that you are working on. So
Sure.
this your this review that you want to do, you are considering the area that you are looking at. So let's say you are looking at, let's still settle on your topic you gave, FDI and economic growth. You
Yeah.
understand? So once you have this topic, then you know that your major variables here, or your unit of variable, your unit of measurement, you are going to use your unit of analysis here is what? FDI and
Economic
economic
growth.
growth. Okay.
Yeah.
So here, in doing the literature review, you have to first of all look at, okay, you have to look at theories that discuss, or you have to look at factors that drive what? FDI.
Okay.
You understand? So in doing your literature review, that's what you need to understand. You have to look at. You have to look at when we are talking about FDI, what is actually determines FDI. So you have to look at those locations. They have that when you go into the literature, they will tell you they have those location and that stuff of resource factors that will drive FDI. So you have to consider those factors and go to the literature review and review them. You understand? With regards to what? FDI. Then you come back to the next variable, the unit of analysis, which is economic growth. You look at economic growth. Then you ask yourself, what are the drivers of, what are the theories with respect to what? Economic growth. So there are so many theories that try to what? Explain what we mean by what? Economic growth.
Okay.
So those theories, you need to review them. Okay, so first of all, when let's say you want to talk about economic growth, there are so many theories. So when you go through the theoretical side and those theories, their literature is very old, but you go through those things, then you include certain current research literature. So first of all, with this topic in mind, you first will have theoretical review. Okay, so with the theoretical review, I'm going to explain the theoretical review, theories explaining what? Economic growth. So we're going to explain all those theories. That's an aspect. Then later, after you are done with that, you look at factors that determines FDI. So you talk about, you also go, you review your literature in that respect. Then you look at empirically, what are other studies that has been done that also seem to establish relationship between what? FDI and economic growth. So first you have looked at, in theory, what you have in your books. The theory, you have looked at the theory aspects of your variables that you are using. Then you come to the empirical literature review. The empirical literature review, you will consider given the literature, you look at what are the studies saying, what are the previous studies, existing studies telling you. So you look at, what are the relationship between FDI and economic growth given the literature, and you analyze those studies in your work. But by so doing, you are also trying to identify a gap. But once you are reviewing the empirical studies, you are trying to identify a gap. So maybe let's say you are working on Africa, and you have gone through the empirical studies here. I said, this such a study was done in Asia, Europe, or whatever, in Africa. But so you give records of, you just give an empirical, critical literature review of that empirical studies. You write them down. You have to make sure that when somebody reads through this, we are going to find a gap in literature. So after you have done this empirical review, at the end of it, in the conclusion of it, you have to then identify the gap. And you have to establish a gap in those literatures that you have reviewed. So you have to do an overview of the literature so that you will establish the gap in literature. You just don't do the review just like that. After you have gone through all this, let's say you are just like your study, like I said, let's say the studies on Africa. After you've done a review, you notice that, oh, some studies have done, some study has been carried out in Africa, but those studies are not panel. They are not panel studies. They are actually country specific. So you can identify, oh, even though that study has been looked at in Africa, most of the studies that were carried out were country specific. So there's no studies on what this given what on the panel basis. You understand? So you have to then be able to establish that. Or sometimes you can, when you go through the empirical literature review, you can also even focus on the method that they use, because maybe in your study you have identified your novelty on the basis of what? Your method. So once we are doing the empirical literature review, at the end, you are going to what? Write that most of the studies, they use this particular method and this and that. And this is what you want to use. So what you establish the weakness of those methods they've used, and then come in with the advantage of the method, the new method that you want to use at the later part of the literature review. You can do that. Then you can, after you have done that, okay, you can have at the beginning, let's say before you even come to the empirical and theoretical and empirical review, you can initially you can look at an overview of what the economy that you want to talk about. Let's say you are looking at let's say China. Let's say your studies on China. So initially you look at the economic performance of China. So you look at the trend over the years, given your time frame, how their economy has been performing. You can analyze those ones with those trends there. Then you look at FDI that has come in. You do all those analysis before you can go to your theories and empirical other stuff. That would be one. Okay, that would be one. Then sometimes what other researchers also does is that you can. There are certain topics that you want to maybe you'll be working on, but there's no theories in discussing that. So explaining those variables for you. So what you have to do is that you have to do thematic review. So with that one, you try to give an explanation. You are explaining the theme, that variable that you are talking about. You explain it, given the literature, and then also you look at factors that influence that particular variable, reviewing your literature. Because let's say the thing that you're talking about, there's no theory. So you have to go by explanation. So now you are explaining those things, but you are doing so given what? Literature. You're doing those things. So that one you are just doing the review, but there's no theory explaining your thing, the variable that you are going to look at. So you do that thematic literature review. You pick let's say the thing I want to look at. Let's say I'm coming. I want to come up with a certain topic so that we can have a look at it. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at something like climate change. Climate change. Okay, there's actually not a theory explaining climate change. But when we talk about climate change, there are a lot of things you can talk about in explaining climate change. So first of all, you can talk about what we mean by climate change. Okay, you talk about that climate change, and you look at its impact of climate change. And when there's a climate change, when we're talking about impact, then it means that the impact will be more severe on a certain group of people. So you are breaking it down. You have taken this topic and you are explaining your literature and you are breaking it down. So maybe you are talking about climate change in a particular area. Then you look at factors that will cause climate change. You explain it. Then you look at the impacts when there's what will make one more vulnerable to climate change. You understand? So you look at asset of household. Those are certain things that you might do. That one is what thematic literature review. Since there's no theory explaining those things, you take that particular variable and you try to explain it. You get it by establishing certain relationship with what you want to do. That's with the literature review. With the literature review, there are so many ways you can look at it. You can also look at it from what we call methodological point of view. Okay, so you review your literature with respect to what method that has been used to analyze a particular situation that you are looking at. Then you can look at historical, historical, what's over the years, what has been done. You can look at it. And there's systemic, you can do a systemic literature review. Like systemic literature review, just like the empirical literature review that I told you about. You look at, you go through one's work, previous work, and you try to critique and what you think it has been done and what should be done. You do that critique. That's systemic literature review. Or you can also do an integral literature review. Yeah, those ones, it has to, like you are trying to connect, you are looking at the issue, but you are looking at 18 parts, like you talk about a particular variable that you are looking at from the literature. You are also adding in your criticism in it. You understand? So there are so many ways you can look at it. But when it comes to something like economics or certain field that there are theories to explain your variable, it becomes very easier sometimes. You will look at it from the theoretical point of view, then you look at what previously has been done. Then you try and establish a gap in literature by looking at whatever that you have reviewed, what is it that you think should be done, and your work is going to fill.
Oh, okay.
Can we move on now?
Yeah, so just some questions for clarity. Let's say you are researching on a topic, okay, there are theories, and then you want to write your literature review. So you can first write a review on the theories. That would be like the theoretical review. And then is it also okay that as part of the literature review, you then have a section on the methodologies and then a section on the empirical work? Are you okay to put everything like that?
In literature session, you don't do that. You can just do a methodological review. When you are doing an empirical review, you can, you see, like I said, the review takes several forms, okay? You can be like, it can be like you are doing methodological review. In that one, your review is with respect to the method that they've used and outcome.
They've used over time.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use, you have to have create a session, a subsession that is what methodological is. No, it has to do with the idea. Are you doing a methodological literature review, or are you doing systemic literature review? You understand it? So it shouldn't necessarily be like, oh, I'm going to have this, and after that, not like that.
Okay. So let's look at a typical literature review. Let's say an empirical work. So you can say like Pickfin in 2017 conducted a study in this area using data from this period to this period and used methodology, maybe time series, and found out that FDI has a positive effect on economic growth. So that would be like one. And then you try to find other people who also had a positive effect of FDI on economic growth. And then you also say that maybe similarly, maybe Suleimana also had something like that. Is it allowed?
Okay, but okay, the question.
So the question is it allowed?
Yeah, but see, you are doing so with a mind of critiquing the work, So you see, you can link you can link, you see, in discussing these previous findings, okay, you can do it. You can look at, oh, this and the person, they use this approach on this topic and found this and that. And this, and after that, you have to compare that to another study, which findings is also what? Contrary to the one that you are talking about.
Yeah.
But before you introduce the previous findings that you think that is contrary to the one you are talking about, you have to what? Critique that work that you are talking about. Okay. Yeah, you can do that, but there should be like a critique. You are trying to create a point. Yeah, you're just trying to create a point by just giving those accounts of previous study that has been done.
Okay.
Because mind you, I said that at the end of that empirical review, you should be able to establish that this previous study that has been done your study is different, or your study is going to contribute, going to add to what actually exists.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So is it better to critique every paper you try to use in your literature review when you are using it, or you finish writing everything and then in the last paragraph, you can bring your general critique?
Yeah, in the last, you can do that. But what I'm also trying to say is that you can, in doing the review, you can contrast the findings. Okay, you can contrast the findings. Okay. This person does that, or you can even say that because sometimes when you are doing the literature review, you can even realize that in a particular area, in a particular study area, there has been what? A conflicting outcome.
Sure.
So let's say the study is on Asia, but you notice that someone did a study on South Asia. You find a particular a positive impact. One also did the same area. Okay, one also did a study in the same area, but the result is also different. So if you have read the paper very well, you can, in analyzing this, you can contribute. You can attribute the reason for the difference in the result. The difference in the result might be the approach, the method they use, or even their sample size. Maybe certain variables that to you, the researcher, you think it was not considered, and that one might be that.
Okay.
So in a particular area, you can see that there's that conflict. So you be doing that critique. Just be when you go to the papers, you might find certain reasons as to why some studies they find as a particular findings. Because mind you, this findings that this review that you are doing, you are going to use these findings in justifying your outcome. You get it. Sometimes when we get to those areas, I think I can also talk about it, but I will leave that. So once you've been able to do this one, when you go to the latter part of it, you have to justify why you think that what your study is novel.
Okay,
even
so
the empirical study that you have reviewed.
Sorry for that. So imagine like I'm reading a paper and then I don't find any critique. Like I don't think there's any critique I can give based on my level of
Or you can still just report those findings and that's the but at the end of the day, you have to also establish, you see, at a certain section of your review, you should be able to establish that your study, there's a gap. There's a gap in literature.
Yes.
Even though in the introduction you have been able to establish your progress statement, but you can also at the end of the literature review you can do that. You can at the last session you can also do that. You can write that given this study that has been carried out, these are the areas that you think your research is going toward. This is the vacuum that you think your research is going toward. Phil.
Oh, okay. So one last thing on this. How should we even review the literature? When we pick the manuscript, should we just focus on the abstract or we should just read the entire paper? How do we even review the book? Because I remember, I just remember there was a manuscript I was reading. The authors reported that they found an insignificant effect in the abstract. Yeah. But then when you go to the paper, the discussion, they also had a significant effect there. Mm-hmm. So how do we even review the manuscript?
Okay, so I think that it's better that you always will go through the whole paper. You have to make sure you have read the paper and you really understand what you are reviewing. You just don't take the abstract because what you're talking, the problem that you just made mention of, I've encountered those kind of problems. You know, normally when people report their result in a summary, sometimes let's say the result has a positive impact, but it is not significant. Okay, some of them will go to their abstract and write that, oh, our study has impact or influence this. But you go to the main work, the main text you reach, and you notice that in the test, you notice that that variable that they are talking about, it has a positive impact, but it is not significant. So the conclusion is not correct. If it has a positive impact and it is not significant, the assumption is that the impact that you are seeing is not different from zero. So it means that there's no impact.
Yeah.
So you have to establish that this variable has no impact on this. But some of them, even though they see positive and it is not significant, they are still going to write, oh, it has a positive impact. Not necessarily even verify that it is what? It is not significant. And if it is not significant, you don't go and say that it has a positive impact. You just conclude that the impact is negligible or there's no impact. You see, that's what you have to understand. When you are conducting a study, the outcomes are three. Either it's positive or negative, or there's no what? Impact. Okay. So if it is not significant, then you have to conclude that there's no impact. You don't go and write it if there's a positive impact, then you go there and find out. So it's always you, as a researcher, you do your checks. You have to make sure you go through the work and establish whatever that you find in the abstract. And normally when you even read the whole work, you are able to get reasons as to why a particular variable has a certain impact on a particular independent variable. Because when you read, you see, when you are reading, you see, what you have to understand is that sometimes the researcher might attribute, it might give you the reason for a particular variable not having impact, or a particular having a particular impact on a particular variable. Those reasons are there. So, and that ones, you might need it, okay? You might need it in also justifying your own outcome. So you need to what? Read the main work so that when you are confronted with a certain outcome, you'll be able to justify why. Let me give you this. Was it last week? Someone discussed his research findings with me. And this is what happened. The person said, with all the literature that he reviewed, all the everything points to what? Affirmative that it has what? Positive impact. But with his studies, he's having what? A negative relationship between those two variables. So he thinks that there's a problem with his data. So look at that. It means that this person going into research with a mind of what? Affirming common sense. But that is not true. We don't conduct, you see, we have to make sure that we bring up what is there. So once you find a contrary outcome, you have to give the reason why this is this. So if you are not careful, sometimes you might find people whenever they are doing a research and their outcome is not what you expected, they want to still make it this, which is not correct. You always have to make sure that when you find a certain outcome that was not as expected, you have to go through the literature to give a reason why you think that variable is negative, or that there's no relationship, or the reason why there's a positive relationship between those. You have to be able to explain that. It is not always that you have to say, oh, this person had a positive impact, so my outcome is what? Justified. No, you can give reasons as to why you think that there is a positive impact. You can give reasons as to why you think what? There's a negative, or why you even think that it's not having any impact.
Oh, okay. So one thing I have come to understand about the importance of the literature review is it gives you enough information so that when you are doing the discussion, you would even know what to use to defend some of your findings. Yeah. But then a quick question just came through. Someone is asking, how do you find theories about your topic? A quick comment on it, because I think the person wants to know how you get theories. I just
it's just like, you see, assuming you have, if let's say you are an economics student, let's say that you're an economics student, you surely might have come across so many theories with regard to what? Economic growth. So when they are talking about economic growth, they have endogenous growth model, Solow model, Diamond model, so many models. You see, so it means that for you to know the theory with regards with your work, you see, in your field of study, you might have what? Learned that in class. You might have learned that in class, because when you are a teacher, let's say your macroeconomics teacher is teaching economics. When they are talking about economic growth, they will talk about something. They will mention certain theory. If they want to talk about inflation, they will tell you factors that influence what? Inflation. When let's say you are doing economics, you are talking about FDI. Okay? When you are talking about FDI, your professor will discuss factors or theories that explain FDI. And those, when you are doing your research, you have to then go and look for other materials with regard to those theories and then put it in your work.
Oh, okay. So
what I'm also trying to say, there are certain topics that there are no theories. So that one, you have to do a thematic literature review. You just have to take that variable and try to explain it in a certain way. Try to say, oh, what are the factors that influence this? What are the causes of this? something like that. That's a thematic literature review, because there are no theories with regards to that.
Okay, I think this clarifies the statement you made earlier on that what we learn in the classroom actually helps when we are conducting the research. We have to apply those ones.
Yeah, you have to.
One last question on literature review. So sometimes when we do our literature review, you hear the supervisors and then the reviewers saying your literature review is too old. How old should our literature reviews be? Like, what's the span? Should we collect the, papers within 5 years, 10 years? And how many? Sometimes they'll be like, oh, it's too small. Are we also, is it also good to use papers published in predatory journals, or we should focus on just top journals? So a quick word on these ones.
You know, let's look at it. If the literature is too old, it is perceived that that area has been abandoned, or it's been dealt with and abandoned. You get like that, you get it. Yeah. So let's say you want to do a study on, let's say, microfinance, and you go and maybe the review, the papers you are reviewing is in the 90s, 1999, 1990 this. It means that area, since 2000 up to date, nobody has worked on that area. Okay. You get it. So it means that area, it's been exhausted. So it means that if you want to even look at microfinance, then you have to look at microfinance with respect to current something, let's say fintech. Then you can then relate that, this is the new dimension. See, this is the new area that it has come. So, but what you have to understand is that the perception is that when your literature is not, you don't have so many current literature review, the literature, then it means that area, it's not of interest to most academicians. That's what it means. So what you have to try to do is that you have to, let's say, you look at you can get literature from the past 5 years. Okay, 5 years. Okay, yeah, let's say we are in 2024 now. Okay, yes. If you want to conduct a study, you can look at, let's say, from 2018 up to 2023. Okay, if you want to publish a good paper, and the reviewers or the journals that most of your literature review are within, like, they are current. They think that is the major, that's the issue that is trending. Oh, okay. Yeah, so you have to make sure that you have that recent publications in your work. So you look at it, the past. So let's say we are in 2024. Your review can start from, let's say, 2015 or 2016 coming. Okay, that doesn't mean that in your work you are not going to have some citations which has to do 2010 or 2019. You understand that? Yeah. There might be a couple of old citations, but the recent one should be more. The recent one should be more. You understand that? Actually, when you are trying to even identify the research gap, you have to make sure that you rely on recent publications. When you want to talk about the gap in the literature review and you want to criticize other people's work, those papers that you want to criticize should be very recent, not an old one. It should be very recent, so 2021, 2020, so that they know that area is trending and you also want to look at. I think that's it. Okay, so thank you so much. And Doug. I forgot to tell you, there's one question I think I didn't address it. You said, where should you go for? Yeah, where do you get the papers? Should you look at just top or like high quality journals? You are in China here. You are being asked to publish your papers in a high rank journal, so SSCI journals or Scope or something. So what you do is that when you go online, you can go to the particular journal's website. This is what you can do. You can go to, let's say, Emerald Insight. Emerald Insight, they have a search engine there. So when you go there, you type in some keywords of your topic, and it will get you related papers published in their top journals over there in Emerald. Or you go to Science Direct. Science Direct, when you go to Science Direct, when you type Science Direct, they have another search engine there. When you go there, you type in your keywords, and it will get you papers related to your topic, your top journals. because you as a researcher, you know which journals that are top in your area. So you make sure you download papers from those journals. But you have to be very careful. You know, sometimes when you are even doing a review, with your thesis, there's no problem with it. But normally when you are even reviewing people's work, publication papers, I just want to draw attention to, as a researcher, you also have to be very careful you are not journal bias. You know, there are some people, when they want to publish in a particular journal, what they do that they go to that particular journal and download all their papers.
Oh, okay.
Download a lot of papers from a particular journal and use it to write their literature review. It is not, it is biasness. You have to make sure that you get papers from various journals.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes they just think that, oh, if I take papers from all this particular journal, they will accept my paper, because the journals are also using the citation for their ranking, but it's not proper. Make sure that your journals, the journals that you are downloading your papers from, they're high-ranked journals, but you should be fair. Spread them. You pick two from here, pick three, pick four. It shouldn't be a particular journal. You just select about 6. Okay. You understand it? Because yes, that's the journal you want to publish in. That's a journal biasness. So I think as a researcher, you should rely on papers from a good journal and not necessarily the lower rank journals. It's very important. So you have to make sure that you are getting your papers from good journal. You can use Mendeley. You can go to Mendeley to download your papers from there. Or if you like, you can download, let me show you this. Let me try to give you this one. No, this SSCI people, they have this app, research. I don't know how, whether you can see it. I don't know, let me see if I can see. If you go to SSCI journal, they have what they call Research Assistant. It's an app, okay? It's an app, something like this. Oh, you can see it.
Well, no, you can't see it.
You can see it. Let me try to.
Yeah, you can send send us a screenshot and then we will distribute in the group after.
Okay. I'm coming. Let me take a shot. I'll take a shot. Like this. Oh wait, I'm trying to see. So that one is the SSCI people. Their app. You can download papers from there. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Or you can download, because most of the papers that you'll be downloading from that app is actually SSCI or SCI, this thing.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. So let me try and share that to you. When I say make sure you circle it, I will just mention the name for you so that you circle it.
Okay, once you do. So people, I will post it in the group so that we can all have a look at it once I get it. Okay.
Yeah, you can use that one, or you can use Mendeley, or you can use Tozero. So those reference tools, you can also go there. You can, I think Mendeley or something. Yeah, that one. You can download your papers from there. Yeah, or you go to ScienceDirect. You go to ScienceDirect, Emerald Insight. You go there, you can get some good listing from their site. Or you can use you know, when you go to you can use this one. What's the name? Google Scholar, but that one, you know, that's a common one. That's a very common one. But you have to be able to identify this paper that I'm downloading is from a good journal.
A good journal.
Okay, Kwame, I've sent it.
Okay.
Yeah, you see MYRA. You see the SSCI journal thing. It's called Research Assistant 2. Assistant.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's like the Clavate. The Clavate.
Yeah. You see they are signed there.
Yeah,
when you go to their website, they call it Research Assistant 2. You can download papers from there. You can just download any papers from there. When you have it on your phone, just type. Yeah, you can even type your topic. Just a topic you have or related papers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, people, I'm just going to send a screenshot which will have only that app.
Okay. Let me get you the name. The name has come. Let me send you. You can download it. You can download that app. Let me send this one again. I think.
Okay. Then we will share the name rather. We'll share.
Yeah, research. Oh, you can, when you share the app, the sign, you can share both. They can see it. They can just go and download it.
Okay. Okay. So, Doug, should we let you have a short 5 minutes break so you can grab water? And then we go to methodology and probably wrap up because we may not be able to finish everything today.
Okay, I've sent you what I just made mention of. You can share that with
okay.
them.
Okay.
Research assistant.
Research assistant.
You can download papers from there.
Okay.
Download, yeah.
So
that one is from the SSCI database, so it's fine.
Oh, okay. So would you want to have a 5 minutes quick break so that we come back and go to methodology and probably try to wrap up?
It's now 4:18. So
yes.
we come back 4:23. It's okay.
Yeah, 23. So hello people, try to get a cup of water for yourself too, so that we come back and finish.
And I think later, if anybody has any question, we can also look at those questions and talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll take questions from them if there's anything we need to talk about.
Okay. So.
Okay, then we're on break.
Yeah, we are on a short break, just a short break.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'll be with you.
Okay. So people, let's turn around and stretch so we can come back. And if you have any question, please let the question be within what we are looking at today so that we'll have a fruitful discussion. Okay, thank you so much.